Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Paula and today I will make an updated video about my thoughts on shopping at Vestiaire Collective and all in all about the pre-loved luxury market. It's been maybe like 2 years or a few years since I made my video about Vestiaire Collective, the good, bad and ugly. And thank you for everyone who has watched it. I hope that it kind of provided some kind of information of, at that point, what I thought was good about the platform, bad, and then like questionable stuff. And I feel like there has been quite a lot of bad experiences on that platform, at least what I have seen. Maybe it is the classic case where the positive ones are not spoken about and then the kind of negative ones get bigger platform, or is it? Anyway, I've been kind of maybe asking you if you would want an updated kind of video on what I think now of all the new things I know about Vestiaire Collective, how it operates and such. And there were a few yeses, so I thought I would film kind of an update after a few years of that, of like what I think of that platform as a, let's say, a very regular customer of Vestiaire Collective. So I feel like I at least have some kind of perspective of what it has been prior and what it maybe is now. Maybe there is someone who is more knowledgeable than I am. And then we can touch a bit upon also like in general buying pre-owned luxury goods, what I think about it, if Vestiaire Collective is not an option, or if there are some other alternatives. So that's kind of the topic for today. Hope you enjoy, and if you have any further questions, then please hit the comment section below. I'm happy to answer to my best knowledge as I can, but please remember that this is all based on my personal experiences as well as then what I've personally heard and seen other people sharing about the platform. So obviously I can't say anything for a fact because, well, of course something I can, but if you should shop there or not, that's not a fact, that's your decision. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to say, that this is just my opinion based on my best knowledge and experience. And let's go. So the background for me as a Vestiaire Collective customer, I used to be like scrolling it daily. I've bought so much stuff out of Vestiaire Collective. I've sold a lot of things there. And truth be told, personally, till this day, all of my experiences with Vestiaire Collective have been positive, both from as a buyer as well as a seller. And we'll get to some other details coming up. But personally, for me, like, I've bought stuff with their authentication service, and I've received multiple times messages from them saying that something is not matching with the description or the photos of the original seller, and if I want to cancel or discount or whatnot. So like multiple times it has kind of been caught by their authentication service. Then as a seller, even if they have this direct shipping, which I feel like is a scary thing in general, and it's kind of odd that the seller cannot decide if that is like an option or not. But anyway, so even with the possibility of shipping directly to the buyer, I've had no issues. I will come to details of what I do personally in those situations, but still, like, for me, everything has worked fine. And if I would be like, if I wouldn't have seen and heard all the other type of things, I probably wouldn't be that skeptical at this point, because everything has worked out fine for me. The good things about Vestiaire Collective is that it is a big marketplace where if you are a buyer, you have probably a lot of options, a lot of conditions, a lot of price points, different price points for you to choose what you're comfortable with. And for a seller, that's like, at least for me living in Finland, where the luxury market is really small. So I have a lot more like buyer options utilizing this type of international platform. So I think like that's all good, both from the buyer and seller's perspective. But I know people who have had very bad and very questionable experiences with Vestiaire Collective, both as a buyer, which is probably the more common one, but also as a seller. And it is really hard to kind of neglect and pretend that I didn't hear and see those things, because you never know if it would happen to me. And if you haven't already seen, my lovely YouTube friend Mary from the channel Lumi Level Up has shared multiple stories with her experiences with Vestiaire Collective, like majority of them some kind of cautionary tales, maybe some cringe-worthy stuff. So if you want to know of some like bad experiences, I will link her channel below. Go ahead and get scared by watching them. But anyway, so there has been like, apparently Vestiaire Collective can be very fishy if there is a problem. So of course, like they do everything that they can to make sure that they get the money. So basically that the transaction happens. But at least it seems like they're doing it also on the cost of the buyer or the seller. So if you happen to be on the other end of this type of situation, Vestiaire Collective probably won't be on your side. They are going to be on the side where the money comes in. And that is kind of sad. And especially since they are taking money out of this authentication service, which I got a comment to my previous video of someone who told that they used to work for Vestiaire Collective's authentication service. Obviously, there's no way of me verifying that. But basically, they were just saying that they do get training, or at least they used to. This was a few years back, mind you, that they do get training, but there is just so many items coming to the authentication that they don't have time to go through it all. And this was from the like digital authentication service side. So it is kind of scary to me to hear that someone who at least says that they used to work there and that they do get trained, but the volumes are just so big that they just can't provide the service for everyone. And that kind of makes me think of like, what am I then paying from? Because if I am a seller, of course, Vestiaire Collective takes a portion from it. And if I'm a buyer, I realize that if I would have purchased the item directly from that seller person, I probably would have gotten it with a lower price because there wouldn't be anyone taking any kind of sales slices from there. So that was a tad alarming. Also, now there are some experiences about from the seller's point of view, even when shipping to Vestiaire Collective directly, that not everything that they packed in have been then kind of recognized from the other end. So someone at Vestiaire Collective maybe stole something. Who knows? But like, if I'm being completely like realistic here, always when buying pre-owned, there's gonna be fakes. Like, that's just a fact. If that is too scary, then you should purchase only new from the boutique, because there's no guarantee with buying pre-owned that everything would be authentic. That's just not how it goes. And I feel like everyone who goes to the pre-owned route should make their research, kind of just like know where you're shopping and so on. So that's not maybe the biggest concern here, that there might be fakes in Vestiaire Collective, which there are a lot of fakes, because I've also seen some ads there which is clearly a fake item in the photo, but maybe this is because the digital authentication doesn't have time to go through everything. Anyway, so the fakes is not the scary part. The biggest red flag for me, and this is something I learned from Mary, from her encounters with Vestiaire Collective, that they claim that everything that they sell is authentic, and if it then wouldn't, it would later come up that it's not authentic, you could return the item for them. So they are basically claiming that everything they sell is authentic, and if later on you find out that it's not, then you get your money back still, because they are selling only authentic items. And this is great if it would work like this, because then you could purchase something and then maybe authenticate it somewhere else, or maybe later on you find out that it's not really authentic. Then you could contact Vestiaire Collective and they would be like, oh, sorry about that, exchange and all. I do get it that they are a business and they need to have some kind of thresholds on like how they operate with the returns, and there should be some kind of proof, and maybe not just like I feel like it's a fake or whatever. But, and here comes the red flag part, they've said that the only authentication service they trust is their own, and then that particular brand's like opinion or authentication. So basically, if you get an item and you don't believe it's authentic, you may be authenticated with a third-party authenticator, companies like what credit card companies use and trust, and that it would come back as inauthentic. You would reach out to Vestiaire Collective. They probably will ask you to send the item back to them, and then they're gonna examine it again and say to you that, yeah, it's authentic based on our research. So they only trust their own authentication. And then if we are thinking about like brands authentication services, which are non-existent, like luxury brands do not offer authentication service just for fun. Like it's not, why would they support pre-owned shopping? Like they don't offer that type of service. So it is really difficult for you to get that type of like statement that says that this item has been authenticated by the luxury brand X and it is not authentic. And it's kind of unfair for us as buyers, because that means that we would need to trust only their authentication service. And if after they have re-examined the item and it has come out as authentic according to them, and then they probably would suggest that they can list it under your profile on Vestiaire Collective and sell it onwards. Which also is a bit questionable, because if the item in fact is fake, then you are then the one who is selling the fake and not Vestiaire Collective. Which is just like mind-blowing, that there is no way for you to like take it out from your page or anything. It's just so odd from them. Years ago, there was a lot of like Vestiaire Collective selling items under their own profile, and I feel like it was maybe kind of general information that those items were the ones that were returned to Vestiaire Collective. And of course, they could be returned based on that the quality wasn't what was described and so on. But anyway, there were still items that were returned, and then Vestiaire Collective were selling them under their own profile. And this is just me guessing, but they probably came up with this sell the returns under your own profile type of things, because people just weren't trusting their own like Vestiaire Collective profile. I don't know, but it was just it's just really weird that they would then force it under your own profile. It's just really odd. So basically that is just like a big problem in my opinion with the authentication, because I mean, what would make me trust their authentication service where there is quite many proof out there online where it just has missed a mark and they don't really own it. So that's just a scary thing to do, and this is just maybe something like buyers beware type of thing, that if you are shopping from there, please be aware that their authentication service is always looking out for the money. So in the situation where they would get the money regardless, that's the side that they will take. So that's just like something to keep in mind. But like honestly, like even if my own experiences have been very positive so far, I barely use the platform anymore or the app or anything. I used to scroll it just for fun, which is also really bad, and I'm really happy that I've gotten out of that habit. But basically, like I used to do that. Luckily, I don't do that anymore. But this is just like from private sellers. I'm a bit hesitant. But if I'm completely honest and there is like something specific I'm after, I could consider shopping from a professional seller under Vestiaire Collective even still, because at least for as far as I've understood, they still have the return option for professional sellers, because I think that is like the EU regulation or something, that if you are buying online from a like business, there needs to be a time period where you are able to return it if you don't like it. So that is just something that I haven't heard too many bad experience or failed attempts to return something bought from a professional seller. I bought from professional sellers, I've returned them. It was fairly like straightforward. So that is something I could still consider doing. Then when it comes to selling, Vestiaire Collective has actually been a really good platform for me to sell my items onwards, because majority of things I own, I've also bought pre-owned, so then kind of selling them forward. Even with Vestiaire Collective's like cut that they take, it's kind of been quite okay, and my items have sold fairly quickly, so I haven't really had any problems with that. And I still could see myself utilizing the selling side of things, but I've always filmed when something I've sold, of something I've been selling has been sold and I'm shipping it. I have filmed the part where I pack it, but if it has been going directly to Vestiaire Collective, I haven't filmed it. But now that I've heard of these type of experiences where something magically just like disappears from the package, then I would definitely film also the ones that are going to Vestiaire Collective, because that's just not the fun place to be at. So if I would sell on Vestiaire Collective, I would film a video of in what condition the item is in, what I am shipping with it, the whole process of me packaging it, like sealing it and all. And then I've also filmed the part where it's sealed parcel and I'm giving it forward to the delivery company and getting a receipt or whatever. So like I've been very careful. I have filmed those parts as well, but that's definitely what I would do even more so if I would end up selling there, which maybe if there is not another place where I could sell my stuff, then maybe I could consider it. But yeah, so that's where we are now. So Vestiaire Collective kind of dropped from being my favorite pre-owned luxury site to the least favorite. Kind of sad, but I feel like they've pretty much done it to themselves. So where am I shopping now? My values of buying pre-owned haven't really changed. I really love it. I love finding deals of items I want to buy. So pre-owned is perfect. Vintage, especially I found Chanel through Vintage Chanel. There's no way I would have done that without the pre-owned route. So I'm definitely still a big advocate and fan for buying pre-owned. There's just so many good reasons to do it, and money is just one thing. It's the environment. It's just like providing new wares for an item that was at least made with precaution, maybe even man-made, and like all of it. So like I love shopping pre-owned. Well, I live in Europe, so I'm mainly looking to shop here in Europe, more specifically within European Union, because that's just the best deal for me. So if I'm shopping or looking at pre-owned stuff, I'm looking at professional companies that are Europe based, where the items can be returned without any explanations needed if it for some reason doesn't work out. And even if the company would be super reputable and trustworthy, I still do authenticate stuff. The one that I use, I have linked below. I'm not associated or affiliated with them. It's just information sharing of what I use. It's down in the description box, but I just always, just for peace of mind, I do that authentication. But a place that I've truly enjoyed looking is a Retro Tale, which is a Swedish-based company. I bought my Chanel Walk from there this year, and they have very beautiful vintage stuff, and I feel like the price point is fairly good. And then there is also this place called Affordable Luxury, which is also a Swedish base, but they do have a boutique in Stockholm, I believe. But they also have like luxury pieces. There are some local ones here in Helsinki, for instance, Luxury Helsinki, which I believe does ship abroad as well, but they have quite high prices. So it's kind of like, I do look, but yeah, it's quite expensive for them. And then there are some others that I've also learned through social media and watching other YouTubers shopping pre-owned in Europe, but like definitely I would go more for these kind of professional companies where it's possible to return. But the funny thing is that I've also noticed something of my own behavior, and that is that during the recent year and a half, I have bought more new from the boutique compared to before. So hard to say if it is because of Vestiaire Collective, if it is because the fakes seem to be all around, if it is that my financial situation has gone better and I can afford more. I don't know. Can it be a combination of things? Is it because I buy less, so I'm like able to save up more and then get the boutique experience? Who knows? But that's just something I've noticed from myself, that I've actually bought a lot more new from the boutique than the years before. So that's also something that I need to notice, that I've been putting a lot more money into my luxury items than before. Okay, I think that was all I wanted to say around this topic. About Vestiaire Collective, there it would be possible to talk for like hours of different layers and experiences and all of that. But I tried to somehow summarize of how I feel about it today. And I would be super interested to know, like, if you've ever shopped from the platform, what are your thoughts about it? Because it's just funny place to be at. I don't have any bad experiences, but the bad experiences I'm aware of are just like so bad that I don't necessarily want to put myself up for those similar ones. So maybe it's just time to move on from Vestiaire Collective, or at least I've done that, I feel like. Hey, if you have some other pre-owned shops and sites where you shop and feel is trustworthy, let's list them down in the comments, because sharing is caring, right? And if you are also there because you love luxury and pre-owned luxury and so on, then maybe we would also want to get acquainted with some other places as well. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.